members? No, but we'll say this anyway, because if we get out of practice, I know we'll get some. For our Zoom members, we're happy you can join us, whoever you are and wherever you are. Please remember to mute yourself and so forth and so on. I think we've done due diligence on that. The prayer and pledge today will be given by Kyle Peters. Welcome, Kyle. All right.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I have this old prayer that I got from my fraternity, Sigma Chi. Thought it'd be fun to read this. Our Father, we thank thee for thy many blessings. Keep us from harm. May the white cross guide us and teach us to be true to each other, ourselves, and thee. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Family time will be next week. And our class walk is courtesy of John Cumbo. Please welcome John. It's you.
You, John.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Everybody was talking.
Got about 10 seconds to make it up on the fly.
I find it funny that if you want me to sit up here for an hour and talk to you about taxes or investments, I need nothing. But if you want me to talk about myself, I need 2 pages. So I'm John Cumbo, for those that don't know me. I've been a member now, I believe, for 4 years. I think just 4.5 years, something like that. Ryan Maloney invited me to come in and meet everyone, and after that, I quickly pursued the path of becoming a member. So I enjoyed it. A little about me: I'm originally from Ohio. I represent the Big Ten along with one other member I believe we have here. For those of you that are Gator fans, you can thank me later because we make you look good in every national sport or national championship we play you in. Made my way down to Florida in 2002. There I had eventually met my now wife. We have a couple kids, Catherine and Alex, grades 8 and 6. They are currently over at Episcopal, and that has become not only a dependent of mine, but also a source of most of our time. Catherine dances, she does plays, she does cheerleading, anything that involves a stage, she is on it and takes after her mother and ready to go. My son plays lacrosse and wrestles, and last season I actually got involved and started assistant coaching the middle school football team. So it is really a family effort there. In my spare time, I do the coaching. I enjoy tennis, boating, and watching my kids do their sports and their activities. So that takes up pretty much my time. From a business standpoint, I work at Morgan Stanley. I'm part of a group there called the Bridgeview Investment Council. My 2 partners and I formed this group end of 2017, beginning of 18. And really our idea was we wanted to give a boutique feel inside of a global behemoth. So we have all the resources of Morgan Stanley, but we're able to give the services of a small family office. We work with families and business owners on everything from how to sell their business and then retire, to lowering your current tax liabilities, to helping. We do a bunch of education classes for the next generation, for grandchildren, things like that. So we really are true family advisors. Our clients become part of the family. And it's really all about the service from our end. Within a few years, we already had 2 businesses that we merged together, but within a few years, we're really one of the larger groups now within Morgan Stanley. We have clients on 3 continents, and we've managed just under $900 million in assets personally. So it's been very rewarding. Just a backstory of how I got involved in this, and I tell everybody the story, just do something so this kind of thing doesn't happen. When I was 15 years old, my grandparents had lifelong friends, the Knapps. And they were just always there. Might as well have been another grandparent to me. Well, Mrs. Knapp passed away in her early 80s. And Mr. Knapp, like happens often, wound up marrying one of the widows that was in that group pretty short after. The Knapps had substantial wealth and kids of their own, and the older lady he married also was pretty well off and had kids of her own. Well, Mr. Knapp died very shortly after they got married, and they hadn't done any planning. So by law, everything went to his new wife. Before she could even settle that out, she also passed away. Everything went to her family. His kids got nothing. And it was even to the point that if the kids that did inherit it wanted to give it back, there was no avenue to do that. Because of some simple planning, this family was devastated. And they, like I said, the new kids couldn't even give it back without huge tax bills, because if they turned down the estate, the government was going to go down their mom's bloodline to continue giving that money. There was no way to get it back to the Knapp's bloodline. So that really stuck with me at 15 years old, just how these families were devastated, the ripple effect of all that. That's really what got me into this business. And that's why I enjoy working with clients. It's why we really push for that service side of it. The investments, that's pretty easy, to be honest with you. It's the rest of it that differentiates my team from everyone else. But that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have we a report about the upcoming fundraiser? I'll bet we do.
Kevin in the room.
Welcome, Lisa
It's all
Marie.
you. Well, I'm very excited, as I've been every week, about the upcoming fundraiser, and it gets more exciting as we get closer and closer. We are in our 30 days or less window. I think now we're like 20 something days before the actual event, and the contributions of all of the members here continue to overwhelm me, of the generosity. And while I'd love to keep that whistle pig for myself, it will be in our booze bundle, which we will be part of the live auction. And last week we opened up our ticket sales to the public. So we started getting folks in the community that are interested in attending our event. So I encourage everybody here who is a member, if you have not gotten your tickets and you plan on attending, please go buy your tickets. Patty can help you. She can take care of that today, because we want to make sure that our club members have the most enjoyment out of this fundraiser. Like I mentioned last week, it is a fundraiser. It's been a couple of years since we as a club have really ponied up with doing anything from a fundraising perspective. And so I expect that we are going to shine at this fundraiser. I would like to thank everybody who's contributed so far on the committee. We have a lot of hard work in front of us, but many hands make light work. And I know we're going to have a fabulous event. Anybody have any questions about the upcoming fundraiser? I think I've answered most of them week after week, but I'm happy to answer them. If you are buying tickets and not attending, but you're giving them to somebody else, please let me or Patty know so we can make sure that those individuals are on the check-in list. Okay. All right, that's it.
Did you say there's a celebrity promoting this?
You know what? I'm so glad you mentioned that, Mike. I almost forgot. Yes, I would stay tuned to your email. There may be an upcoming video coming out that will intrigue you for sure. So yes, thank you for mentioning that.
I'm looking forward to hearing whoever it is.
Yes, I know, right? 007, maybe.
And what they're wearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Bill Trayer with a Paul Harris history moment.
There he is.
Sorry, they couldn't afford anybody else as a celebrity, so I'm gonna be that's a big disappointment. Okay. For all of you who are sitting there with bated breath, last week, give you a little recap. Paul Harris moved, left Denver and decided that he quit like his 50th job. And he left Denver and he decided to go down to Florida because some of his buddies were going down there. So he got a train ticket and he heads for Florida. And guess what where he winds up? That's right, Jacksonville. And he winds up at the St. James Hotel. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it because I thought it's really cool. Those of us that, you know, lived here all our lives have some familiarity with it, but maybe other people don't. It catered primarily to tourists looking to escape the harsh winter weather of the northern states. Originally built in 1869 to accommodate 150 guests, the building had expanded by 1892 into a 4-story brick and wood structure housing over 500 patrons. A wide promenade stretched across the entire front and the sides of the first and second stories. It boasted a modern passenger elevator, kind of handy, that easily took visitors to their accommodations. It featured hot and cold water, hot and cold baths, steam heat, gas lights, comfortable furniture. The guests could enjoy several bowling alleys and a private billiard parlor for amusement. And its restaurants offered the finest examples of Southern cooking and an excellent orchestra for their dining pleasure. So this was a cool place to come. It was the epitome of Southern hospitality. Proprietor was J.R. Campbell, and he managed it from 1869 to 1901. So to service these renowned customers required a large staff. So when a 24-year-old former cowboy, that's our boy, came looking for work, former cowboy, former reporter, former actor, he was quickly assigned to beating the carpets and sweeping the floors of the mammoth building. Perhaps sensing this well-educated young man with his unused law degree had more to offer than janitorial duties, he was promoted to the position of night clerk. Now he's located at the front desk. He sees the comings and goings. One evening, a local stone, marble, and granite an entrepreneur named George Clark strolled into the lobby. This was fate. Paul introduced himself and the two struck up a conversation. Having worked at the hotel for several months, to no surprise, considering he moves from place to place, he found his current vocation boring, not having much challenge and lacking in imagination. As luck would have it, Clark was looking for people who knew and understood the stone business, and so he offered him a job as a traveling salesman for his company. So Paul Harris goes to work for George, and at least the author thought it was because it involved traveling. He loved to travel so much. At that time, neither man could have known their relationship would last for decades and have a profound impact on their personal lives and the formation of Rotary. So we'll continue with that next week.
The thrills continue unabated, as does our curiosity. I had an Ukraine aid update for you today. You can read it in the district newsletter. What's happening is that Rotarians from Europe are getting together and taking not one, but two, and then going back again, trips across the border into Ukraine with supplies. I found it very fascinating, but I need to watch the time today. So I would say take a look. And anyway, Lori Whitmer with the raffle.
All right.
This is raising money for our charities. Everybody get your tickets out, and I didn't count, but I suspect we're at 700. So if we have a winner today, you would get half that pot. And you need to draw the ace of spades, and we're down to 42 cards. Are you ready? 09 1215.
The streak continues.
No, okay.
Why about those?
So that So we have several tickets that are on the table. If you can look at those. 09 1215. You got it? All right, Robert. Yeah.
If he's not excited. See, now you gotta pull the issue space out.
All right, so the pot keeps growing.
41. Goes the wrong way. That'd be the new math. Odds get tougher.
And introducing visitors and guests today, I'm pleased to introduce to you Dinkins Grange.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have any, a list of any visiting Rotarians. Are there any visiting Rotarians?
Ed Lombard, West Jacks.
Ed, good to see you. Oh, well, we know you're here, Jim.
I've got my badge and everything.
Had my badge.
So you brought the best of the West Side Club with you. Very good.
Lombard, yeah.
Are there any visiting Rotarians on Zoom?
Seeing none.
Not that we've ever had any, but guest, Crystal has a guest.
Hello. I have brought Chris Roberts. Second time he's visited us. Chris is an engineer who has become a patent agent and is working now as a patent agent in our patent division at Marks Gray. So, and his grandfather was a Rotarian, so he is interested in
Are there any other visitors? Does anybody have a visitor? Tamara.
I brought with me Kyle Davis. Kyle is my business partner and president of Baker Stuff.
Any other visitors?
Yes.
Oh, right.
So, many of you will remember last time in this for youth exchange student, Alba. Alba has come back to visit. Introduce your family. I don't know where your brother was.
My brother's in the restroom, but the rest of my family's here. My mom, Maria, my dad, David, and then it's me, and then it's my brother Uno, but Uno's in the restroom. Will come.
Any other visitors? Okay, Mike.
Alba, do you remember this?
Oh my God.
We here in Rotary welcome you today. So glad you came along, glad you came our way. A hand of fellowship is yours, in sunshine or in rain. We here in Rotary say welcome, come again.
Richard, Alba has a little presentation.
Okay, all of that whispering was to alert me that Alba has a presentation. So this is me sitting down again. Inviting Alba up. Welcome, and it is so good to see you again.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Okay, I think I kind of got you in mid-bite.
Yeah, yeah, but it's okay.
All right, come on up.
Yes. am I gonna say? All right, everyone. This was a little bit unexpected for me, but anyway, I'm up here now talking to you all. So it's really good to be here. I have many wonderful memories of this Rotary Club meetings, and Vicky Lynn always picked me up from school. It was a happy time to like escape school for a while, and then I was always dragged out of class to get here, and then pull back to the class probably 30-45 minutes late with the excuse, I'm an exchange student. I was at a very important Rotary meeting, and it was very fun every time. So it's very nice to be here with my family and to visit you. And we actually brought a Swedish present for this Rotary Club. I'm not sure how you're going to use it, but it's a Swedish butter knife with the Swedish dalahäst, like a Dala horse, which is the like one of the biggest symbols of Dalarna, which is a county, probably more or less in Sweden. And then it's also a little napkin, towel, whatever. Yes, but it's cute. I hope you like it, and I hope you can use it maybe in the butter out here during lunch, or maybe the president gets to keep it. I'm not sure.
What have you been doing since we saw you last?
Yes, so I'm still studying. I had to like redo one of my years at high school, and Swedish high school is 3 years. So I've been redoing the second year. So now I'm doing my third and last year with people that are 1 year younger than me, but it's fun. It's nice. and it's okay. So I'm graduating this summer in June. It'll be a lot of fun. We call it studenten when you put on your little graduation hat and you run out of the school just like happy you made it through it all. So that will be really fun. And my plans for this fall is to probably move to Berlin and study German for half a year. So I will be moving with my best friends. We'll be moving out for the first time, and we'll probably be renting an apartment and just like living our young life in the city of Berlin. It will be a lot of fun. And then I'm interested in probably going into law, studying law in Sweden, probably, which will be fun. Maybe doing a master in German if I get good enough. We'll see. Yeah. But otherwise, I'm still doing music in school, which is fun. We have 3 hours of ensemble every week, which is a lot of fun. And we'll be having our last big concert in late May, which might be broadcasted, so maybe you'll get to see it. But anyways, it will be a lot of fun. It's at a very cool like jazz club in Stockholm. So it'll be fun. Yeah.
Super.
Yeah. Do you have any questions? No, but it's good to see you all. Thank you.
Now, thanks to you all, but we are the only Rotary Club in existence with a ceremonial butter knife. We will treasure it. Thank you so much. Our program introduction will be courtesy of Mary Alice Phelan. Mary Alice, welcome.
Hello. I am pleased to be able to introduce Jim Overton, someone whom I have known for several decades. I won't say how many. Jim currently serves as the tax collector for Duval County. He's had many years of public service. He served as the property appraiser. He's been on city council, served as president, finance chair, rules chair. He's been in private business. He's owned a television production company. You may or may not remember, White Hawk was one of his ventures. He's married to Connie. They have 2 children and grandchildren, and it's my honor and pleasure to welcome West Side, past president of the West Jacksonville Rotary, Jim Overton.
All right, so give me some help here on this. Go to share screen, is that right?
Yes.
And don't care that it's recorded. There. Did it work?
All right.
Now, I don't want to spoil the story, but if you want me to, no, I won't do it. I'm just going to tell you, I know. I know where George Clark is buried. And that's part of that story that we're going to hear. Is that correct? You know where he's buried?
No, but I could find.
No, no.
In this book, you'll have the participants that went to the funeral.
I know exactly where he's buried. And it's not too far away from here. So that's part of the story. You should find that out. Anyway, so what's going on in the tax collector world? I got elected in a special election in 2018 when Mike Corrigan decided he wanted to leave and go be head of the Visit Jacksonville, which is the CVB, this Convention and Visitors Bureau here in town. And so it was I figured, well, I had been the property appraiser. I'd been out selling real estate and doing some consulting for 4 or 5 years as a semi-retired guy. And so Corrigan called and said, hey, why don't you run for tax collector and kind of carry on the stuff I've been doing, because he was doing some good stuff as a tax collector. And so I said, yeah, sure, nobody will run because, I've been around town forever. And, well, 4 people ran. And it was a tough little election. And then I had to run again the following 6 months later with a friend of mine, lifelong buddy, ran against me. And so anyway, so it's a hard deal. I hope it doesn't happen again. Anyway, so, we have technical difficulty. All right, so that's the city of Jacksonville horning in on our program there. Okay, so here, did you know, I bet you didn't, that we didn't have tax collectors when the original state of Florida came along with the 1820s. The governor appointed revenue collectors in all the counties. There weren't that many counties. There are now 67 counties. So you can imagine the governor would love to have 67 appointees times 5, because there's 5 constitutional officers in every county. So that would be a lot of appointments for a governor. It would give the governor incredible power. So they came along in 1988, and the big constitution they did in 85, and got rid of that, and they had the tax collector be elected by the local government. So there's only one jurisdiction left where the tax collector is not elected in Florida. That's Miami-Dade, and by the constitutional amendment that has to a couple of elections back, they've got to go to an elected collector as well. Volusia just transitioned from an appointed to an elected. Now in consolidation, the founders of consolidation very much wanted the tax collector to be part of the city of Jacksonville and to be appointed by the mayor. There was some objections to that, and so it didn't happen. And so after consolidation, our tax collectors in the same place that most of the rest of the counties in the state. What the tax collector does in Jacksonville and in every county in those 67 counties, we do state level work at the local level. So we're selling driver's licenses, and we're selling tags, and we're selling, we're collecting a state mandated taxes. All the things that we do are state services. All the statutes that pertain to us are in the state statutes. They're not in the local ordinances. So we're not really part of the city, but we are. As Rick Mulaney always says, we've got 1 foot in the city government and 1 foot in a county government. So we didn't get rid of the county government. We still have Duval County, but all the consolidated part of the city is kind of mixed up. And we're unlike anything else in Florida. We do things differently. So this office does this many things. These are the things that we collect. Just look. Every one of these is a separate transaction. Now, let me go back for a second. For building and zoning, because of your buddies in the construction business, we maintain an office over in the Ball building so that you can buy your building permit or get your zoning approved, and you can walk out the door, and we've got a lady, it's a lady right now. We have a person right there who will collect that fee. So you don't have to go back over to the to our building on Forsyth Street or anyplace else. You can just pay that right there. So that was something the construction trades people wanted us to do. We did it. It's a great little thing. We also collect NAP fees, and you may not know what NAP fees are, but that's UG for underground utilities, which is you can, if you choose to, Mr. Harrell, assess yourself or your neighborhood for undergrounding your utilities. And we did it in my neighborhood. We had 75 houses and we put our power lines underground and we put our street lights up on nice little poles. You can also do that for dredging, for streets and drainage, for gutters, stormwater, that kind of thing. You can do that in the city of Jackson. We have a program for that. We collect that fee, which is a manual fee. We have to do that manually. Nothing in the computer that helps us on that. So everything the city collects or anything, from the dog catcher to the mayor's office charging somebody for a parade permit, we collect that. We pay all that out every day. We're constantly, so it's a big general ledger is what it is. It's coming in, going out, coming in, going out all day long, $3 billion a year. So we stay busy. Anyway, so back to the point there, Miami-Dade, Broward, and us are the only fee-based tax collectors in the state of Florida. Everybody, we're the only budget-based, I'm sorry. Everybody else is a fee-based office. So if you're in Tallahassee, the property appraiser and the tax collector submit their budgets to the Department of Revenue, so the Florida Department of Revenue. The local county officials just have to pay the bill, whatever the bill is. Jacksonville, we're a budget based. So the city of Jacksonville gives us an offset to the fees that we collect for driver's licenses and all that kind of stuff. And they give us about $7 million on about a $20 million budget. There are pros and cons to that. I think as driver's license fees go down, because the legislature refuses to change the fee structure in Florida, you have to have a 2/3 vote of the legislature to change any fee right now. So as we go forward into the future, Pinellas and you name it, counties that have a large population, but they're working on a fee basis, will start to have trouble. Jacksonville will not. We'll just go to the city council and presumably get what we need to run the business. We have to go to the mayor's budget review committee. You've probably never been in there. When I was a property appraiser, I never went in there. Ernie Mastriani was before me, and he said, "Overton, don't you ever go to a mayor's budget review committee while you're the property appraiser." I never did. Now, but I became tax collector. Our statute's a little different, and we're a little closer to the city of Jacksonville. So I have to go down there and plead my case to the Sam Mooses of the world, and get our money so we can run our operation. Anyway, so we're kind of unique in that regard as well. Did you know, for tax collectors going back in Jacksonville history, we had Matthew and Zacchaeus. Matthew, was one of the gospel writers, and he was a tax collector. And Zacchaeus, you've heard the story about Zacchaeus. He crawled up into the tree so he could see Jesus go by, and then Jesus said, "Well, come on to the house. I'm going to your house rather, and we're going to have lunch." Or I think it was lunch, maybe dinner. Which, of course, in that part of the world, in the Roman Empire, as it was in that part of the world, tax collectors just didn't go have lunch with somebody. That wasn't, tax collectors were ostracized because they were crooks. And I'm glad to say they're no longer crooks. They took it off the top, they would collect so much, but then they kept something. They had lots of tax. It said the Pharisees didn't like the tax collectors very much anyway, but they liked Mr. Bowden, Mr. Simpson, Mr. Aubrey, Mr. Roberts, Mr. Hogan, and Mr. Corrigan. They liked those guys a lot. Anyway, I said, this is what we're up to at the office. We put up a new website the second year, about 18 months out, and the old website wasn't that user-friendly. So now we have our times at the branch. We have 9 branches, so you get to see the times of the branches, how long the wait is at a given branch. I highly recommend you go look at this before you go charge off to one of our branches, because the line at one branch might not be anything, and some other branch is 3 hours, and you don't want to go to the 3-hour branch. You can also do this on you can make an appointment or join the line. So we've got this new system we put in where you can make a forward appointment, like it's usually a week or 2 out, or you can just jump in the line for today, and it will send you on your phone how many people are ahead of you. So there's no point in going sitting on, we don't want people sitting in our waiting room. As a matter of fact, I keep downsizing the waiting rooms to keep this good. So you can go wait anywhere, go have lunch, whatever. It will tell you when it's time to go. We are now taking every payment from bank transfers. There is no charge for that. If you use a credit card to pay your taxes or anything, we charge a 2.5% fee, which the bank keeps. We don't keep. So I don't advise paying your property taxes with a credit card because it's 2.5% of a lot. Well, for you guys, it'd be a lot of money. But people do. I mean, they go out of town, they're in Europe, they forget, oh, I didn't pay the property tax, so I got to pay it by credit card. And they call and complain and say, hey, listen, I'm sorry, it's 2.5%. We don't keep it. So if you're paying property tax on $5 million house like you live in, it's going to cost you some money. So set up an ACH account and pay it that way. My public relations person, who is kind of a part-timer, insisted.
ULIS allows your customers to schedule appointments or join a virtual queue where they're given a personal podcast. This empowers them to wherever they want.
You can get in line
Work,
on your phone,
coffee shop,
on the internet.
well,
You can actually
anywhere
walk
but
in and speak to our greeter.
ULIS sends
and
notifications
get in
to
line that
alert
way
customers
before
of
they
their
go
wait
someplace
time
else.
as
Or if
they
the
move to the
wait's not
front
long,
of the queue.
Early in the morning on Tuesday.
By eliminating long
downtown,
lines,
you're not gonna have to
staff
wait.
is free to focus on
Friday
what
afternoon,
matters.
End of the month, forget
Addressing
it.
customer
You're gonna be
needs.
4 hours getting whatever getting a tag, really, anything. So is that done? Yeah, that was great. Thematically, where I'm trying to go with this office is I'm trying to push everything I can to the internet. And it was really helpful during COVID to have more and more things that we didn't have to touch. And people, we didn't have to sit in front. We did all the shields and masks and everything else everybody else did. But, COVID was a real challenge for us. So that's the theme, is push it to the internet. We've been able to reduce our wait time by an average of 25 minutes. I'd like to get that down a lot more than that. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to be Chick-fil-A, but we are getting a lot better at what we're doing. We have a Chick-fil-A line. We just don't have a Chick-fil-A service time. If you waited 25 minutes at Chick-fil-A for your milkshake, you wouldn't wait at Chick-fil-A. You'd go to Arby's. I did get the mayor to give me some new jobs, some positions last year. I got 14 positions. It says 13. We got 14 positions. We put them all in the branch and branches, and we needed that because we were having trouble filling all of our windows all the time, which of course slows things down. And of course, the wait time. We're going to ask for some more positions this year. You're not in the council anymore. Well, I need your buddies to help me out on this anyway. We have put a help desk at every branch. So this is Mrs. Robinson. She's as nice as she can be. But every branch now has a person who's knowledgeable. When you walk in the door, they know something about taxes. They know something about the DMV. They can help you with your question. They'll put you in line, which of course is what she or he's there for. But it's been a real help to have someone at the door who's knowledgeable. I'd like to do more of this. I actually have bought some iPads so people can walk around as if they were at Chick-fil-A and help them with their time. And I'm also going to put status boards in all the branches. I've got 2 up right now where you can see where you are. Because right now, the early estimates on this program, it's a guy in California who wrote the algorithm. It's not very accurate. So if it tells you you're 2 hours and 30 minutes away, that may or may not be right. But if it tells you you're 12 people away, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely what's going to happen. And you need to be in the branch when there's 1 or 2 people ahead of you. I revamped the call center. Our wait times on calls was awful. I mean, up to an hour at some points. And we've reduced that quite a bit. I put some more people up there. I hired this really, really good guy that came from a real live call center, not from the city of Jacksonville or something. And we've got him running that division. People up there, it's a desirable location for people to go work now. They like going to the call center. Some people are kind of suited to that sort of a job. And we're making really good work up there. We've also put an express lane in most of the branch, I think in every branch now, where you can order your tag online and walk in and pick it up out of the greeter's going to just hand it to you. So don't buy tags the old way. Don't go sit in line and wait for a tag because it's not necessary. You can also do this. We put 3 of these in so far.
Renew your vehicle registration and sticker
Publix,
out en route to the tax collector's office.
One on
With
San Jose, one in
convenient
Deerwood, and one in
Florida
Roosevelt
and
Boulevard.
the express
You can go in
kiosks
and scan your reminder, which we send out about a month before your tag goes expires. And you can walk in there, scan that,
walk away with your renewed decal today. For more information and to find our kiosk, visit
FLNVExpress.com. It's a really fast way to get your sticker. We're doing that with a company out of, it's a vendor. And if we keep this going enough, they'll let us do all the Publixes or all the, we'll start putting them everywhere we find them. And Publix are usually up by the ice machine. I don't know why we were never selling concealed licenses before, and I didn't see any reason not to sell them. So we started offering that. It's been huge. I mean, we sell a lot of concealed licenses, more than you probably want to know about. And we're not in the lead by any stretch. Duval County doesn't sell the most concealed license permits, but they sell. You have to get fingerprinted, and you can come to our office and do that, which you couldn't do before. I inked a deal with the Central Florida Toll Authority to allow people to pay their tolls that, existing old tolls on their license, which you have to pay to get your license renewed. Before this, you had to go outside, make a call to the toll authority, and get them to release that lien. You have to pay them with a credit card and release it. So we can do that now at the counter. So if we pull up your driver's license and you got a toll stop on there, we can just say, oh, well, it was $14 for a toll stop in Orlando. And you can pay it as you pay for the driver's license or whatever you're doing. So that keeps us from having to wait for that. We're going to try to get that done for the insurance card too. So you have to have insurance. Did you know that you have to have insurance to drive a car in Florida? It's amazing, but that's true. And so we're going to do that for the insurance business too, so that we can pull up your insurance policy and say, oh, you've got insurance here. I'll click this and go on. So right now that's a stop too. You have to go outside, call your agent, get a fax, an actual fax. You know what that is? A fax, and get a fax sent to us to a fax machine. In your office? In my office. It's a fax machine.
Does anybody have one?
We have fax machines. We probably bought them anyway, we have fax machines. All right, so I've built 3 new branches since we started, and I'm doing this new branch look where we're smaller waiting rooms, although this one got a little out of hand. The greeter is, enclosed in a little box, so not like she's selling bus tickets. And we put a partition between the crowd and the windows, the work windows, so that the noise level gets much reduced. We saw this in Osceola County, liked it, and I've adopted it. We're putting a new branch with the Gateway Mall is sort of getting sold. It got sold essentially, and they're taking, but where we are, the Gateway Mall is going to be torn down, and I think they're going to build apartments there. So we're having to move that store, and we're going to move it out on Sutel, right near where the Legends Park is, or the Legends Community Center, and where that big track meet, the Bob Hayes track meet is. And so that's a better location for us, and that's under construction. COVID was a killer for us. We never stopped, not for a day with COVID. We moved everything to their people's houses, wherever we could find offices, stick people, and we had to keep going because you can't stop collecting property taxes. The mayors will probably call me and say, hey, we're out of money. Can you do something? And it was a tough time, and we lost some folks because of that. And like everybody else, we've got through it. But the important thing is we didn't stop. We kept going. I went to work every day, even though when I was the only person in the building a couple of days, with nobody downtown, nobody around, and but everybody was still working. They got paid over leave time for that too. Okay, I gotta quit. We've been doing a lot of this. We're doing dress up days, and they're really successful. And people dressed up like M&Ms, and we have this guy with a crown on here. He's our king. He's our call center king, and he is a very, very interesting kid. And he thinks a lot of this stuff up. So we'll have competitions, and we're dressed up like Munchkins and royalty, Egyptians, and we'll have dress up day every once in a while. And boy, the folks really love it. Interestingly, you can incentivize people in the government because you can't pay them money, right? Because we're a union shop, and we have to go through a ton of negotiation to pay anybody more if they're actually doing a better job. So we do this kind of stuff, where we pizza and dress up and make it fun, and it's working. We've got a good motivated staff. We're getting very good Google reviews right now. Rarely do I get a really, really angry phone call. You still get them, but not that often. And most of our reviews are pretty good. So that's what we're up to. Also, we're all social media, and we do all that stuff like everybody else does. I get those personally. I only have a Facebook account. I don't have an Instagram account or a Twitter account. Do you guys have Twitter accounts? Some of you do, probably. Anyway, so any questions? Yes, ma'am.
So when is the kiosk coming east?
That's a good question. It's the vendor's decision. We'll see them at a meeting in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to push them pretty hard on that because I like the idea. We're selling enough, I think, to keep them interested. If they don't want to expand their footprint, we may go to a different vendor or maybe try to buy something that'll stand alone, that we can just buy and own. They're not an inexpensive machine, so that's the answer to the question. We're trying hard to push that as far out as we can to various places. And so obviously, if you've got a store suggestion, let me know. We also may put them in our branches so that you walk into the branch and just use our machine. That's another. On that point, interestingly, the car dealers, I'm trying to, anybody here a car dealer? Everybody in here is a car dealer? We're trying to rig up a deal for them so they can walk into one of our branches and go to a locker, open the locker, and there's the completed work they left for us the day prior. Because that's a real issue for car dealers, is how do they get their work done? They don't want to stand in line. They don't want to come in here and hand one of our clerks 20 titles that she or he's got to fix. So we're trying to figure out how to address them a little better. They're a big part of our business, car dealers. It's all title work. Next question. Yes, ma'am.
I've been reading about digital license plates.
Yeah.
Is that coming to fruition?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a bill. It's like the legislature looked at it this year, and they looked at a couple of things. We actually got one of our bills out this year that's going to allow us to put mobile home tags, which we do sell mobile home tags. If you live in a mobile, anybody here live in a mobile? Anyway, they got that done, so we can put those on the birthday rather than the end of the month, so we don't have a big crowd at the end of the month trying to buy mobile home tags. On the digital tags, I think they're going to happen. I think the digital license, the driver's license is going to happen first. We're going to have digital driver's licenses, I think, pretty soon, where it'll be like, on my wallet, I'll have, like, I've got my YMCA get in the door card on here and a couple of credit cards, that kind of stuff. My boarding passes from the airline. That'll be first, and then we'll have digital tags. And then everybody in China will know everything about you. Because it'll be their software we're using. Yes, yes.
It used to be that you tell somebody the epitome of horrible service was, oh, it's like going to get your driver's license. What do we use now? You guys have gotten good.
I like
Another
Chick-fil-A.
city office that we can.
Yeah, I would avoid parking tickets as much as possible. Because those people they want your money. They're aggressive. Now, we have one guy that goes, people are inside paying their taxes and they're already mad. They go give them a parking ticket so they get madder. So I ended up paying some parking tickets for people. They're so mad. I said, listen, I'll just pay your parking ticket. Give it to me. Yeah, they're aggressive upstairs and they make you wait. They're in our building, which makes it worse. The IG's in our building too, which makes it a lot worse too. Yes, sir.
And you may already do this just because my wife handles this part of our life, but when I would ever go to get something done, I never failed. I was missing one document that I needed to go. Is it part of if I sign up for the appointment, do I get a checklist?
No, but that's a good idea. I'm going to implement that. I do have some of that going on. And we do, on our website, we're going to put a bot on there. I'm working on a bot right now that'll answer that kind of question because FAQs are so 1980s, Huh?
FAQs, I mean,
well, ours is searchable, but y'all know what FAQ is? Okay. 2020. Pre-COVID. That's where the world started, right? We all stopped for 2 years. And yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to do something like that because that's the greeter can tell you that. That's one of the things we do. So if you walk in the door and you say, hey, I've got this, 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 and this. Oh, she says, well, you need a passport for that. She or he should tell you that. We're also doing driver's tests now again, which we didn't do for a while. We were doing no driver's, driving tests for teenagers, and we were not doing them at all for a few months or a couple months, and then we started doing them on radio, which doesn't work very well. Now we have people, the inspectors are back in the car, which I don't like very much because you're alone in a car with an individual who needs needs to pass a test. So that situation is fraught with some possibilities for difficulty. Anyway, yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, you were next, Mr. Hill.
Haven't had the pleasure and responsibility to deal with your office a good bit this year. I want to compliment the people that you have there. They've been wonderful, but with the hiring issues and you're trying to expand branches, how are you doing with the ability? You've had some great people. How are you getting them? Are you running into a challenge?
Well, when I'm hiring frontline people, RC revenue collectors, we look at personality first. I can teach them everything we know, all that stuff you got to know. I can teach them that. What I can't teach is, are you a nice person? What do you think of other people? How do you operate in the world? I'm trying to get people to answer those kinds of questions. And we have a hiring class every about 8 weeks. And because we lose that many people and we hire that many people, it's a constant source of challenge. It's a constant challenge to hire people. It's hard to find people right now. It really is. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was a good segue into, it's not a question, it's a comment I was going to make. I've noticed over the past couple of years, especially this past year, a significant increase in the invitingness or friendliness of the people in the office. It's a whole different atmosphere than what it used to be. It used to be, I want to go to another county, anywhere. But go to the jail, visit somebody, be more inviting, but now it's more like, I don't know, visiting the Rotary Club of West Jacksonville.
Here, one of the things we do in Duval County, which is a little more difficult than a lot of counties, we handle anybody that walks in the door. You go to Orange County, you got to be an Orange County resident to work and to get them to give you a license. We don't do that. We're right on the interstate. People, when they're moving from California or Washington or Oregon to Florida, they come right down through here, and we do that. So we're seeing a lot of out of town stuff. But we're trying to teach people to be like Chick-fil-A, and to really be interested in the person and be nice and get it done. But
I just want you to know I've noticed a remarkable improvement in the atmosphere of your office.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you take any decent business principle and apply it to government, you're going to improve the government function, and that's all I do. Thank you.
this certificate, we'll remind you that we have made a small donation to the Rotary Foundation in your honor for the eradication of polio. And we are so happy that you could be with us again. Thank you again. Oh, notes. All right, who needs a microphone? I need a microphone. Anyway, next week, our speaker will be Mike Hightower, and as we end our meeting, be mindful of our membership motto. Each one bring one and join me in our membership motto. One profits most, food serves the best. Ding.
Very good. Thanks.